10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well then, good morning everybody. How are we doing? Sam here, United People's TV, 9:33 gang. Yes, we made it today. How are we doing? Ronaldo, he's back in training. Ronaldo's back at Manchester United. Nice and sharp for work. I think so anyway. We had a conversation yesterday about whether or not we thought Ronaldo was going to turn up to training. I said I thought he would. I reckon about 75% of you said that he wouldn't. Looks like I might have been right, but it's not a case of being right or wrong here because the whole situation is wrong, really. The whole situation doesn't suit Manchester United, does it whatsoever? But how are we all doing? We're here to talk about Christian Eriksen because it's Christian Eriksen Day today. We're hopefully going to be seeing him training in a Manchester United shirt for the first time. I'm looking forward to that. That's exciting news. Lisandro Martinez, he's in Manchester. We're still waiting for the actual announcement of the transfer. We know that the deal's been agreed. That was done last Friday, a while ago now. Why is Martinez not done yet? Not sure. We'll run through the latest news on that. Then we'll dive deep into all that we know about Ronaldo's return today. It's the big story. You might not like it. It might not be what we want to focus on, but hell, you can't help it. It's the big story. Right now, Manchester United's two biggest stories so far this summer are both yet unresolved. Cristiano Ronaldo and his future and the Frenkie de Jong situation. Not really an update on Frenkie de Jong. I did a video yesterday after Gary Neville's tweet about Frenkie de Jong taking legal action. I felt really obliged to do a video on that straight away. I thought it was an important conversation to have because it's not as simple as just saying take legal action. So why I did the video yesterday, we'll speak about that. We'll speak about a behind closed doors friendly that's been organised on top of Atletico Madrid and Rayo Vallecano this week. It's going to be 3 United games this week. Tell you what, Ten Hag wants fitness in those legs. I think we're going to be prepped for the season. But who's down here in the comments? Dave, I can see you down there joining as a member. I'm pretty sure that's the Dave I know. How you doing, Dave? Oh, nice to see you down there, buddy. As always, thank you very much yesterday for donating all those memberships. Because I need to actually, I keep saying this, I need to check how many members we've got now. Because it is a serious army we're building right now. Who have you else got down here? We've got Joe joining in. How you doing, buddy? On a train to Edinburgh. I saw a little funny story. Some guy was on the sleeper train to Edinburgh last week. He fell asleep and the train never left. And he woke up in the station. But what's that? What a shame for him. Glenn, good morning to you. Brandon, I can see there. Seth, Benedict, good morning. Gungshi, Yogi, Johnson, Chart. There's so many new names now, and there's so many old names as well. Good morning to all of you. But regardless of all of that, happy Christian Eriksen Day to everyone. That's what I said on Twitter this morning. We're going to be seeing Christian Eriksen training in a Manchester United shirt for the first time. Really looking forward to it. I felt like the signing of Christian Eriksen was kind of a supplementary signing. That's the way I've described it. Not in a disrespectful way to Christian Eriksen, but I didn't think that signing Eriksen on a free transfer is everything that we needed so far in this summer transfer window. And it doesn't. There's still so much to do. We know about Frenkie de Jong. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing him. Watching us on the preseason tour, it's obvious where Eriksen would slot in. Fred sitting, it's a 4-2-3-1 on paper, but Fred was kind of dropping in a little bit behind Bruno, and it was either Donny van der Beek or Scott McTominay playing in that second number 8 role. Christian Eriksen will do that far better than either of them. I'm looking forward to... I think I might have to do a video on how Bruno and Eriksen can play together because it feels like there'll be a perfect yin and yang partnership. Eriksen will be the perfect foil for Bruno Fernandes and vice versa. They're very different types of midfielders who can really complement each other's games. I think so anyway. That's why I think. Robert, nice to see you joining there as a member, my friend. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll try and give you a shout out. And Jonesy saying, please bring those sweet, sweet positive vibes. Positive is a big word. Marcus Rashford, I didn't run through it yesterday. Marcus Rashford was talking about the feeling among the players when it comes to Erik ten Hag's training so far. And they're all saying, yeah, that's a better seating position. They're saying that he's a massively positive manager. He might be tough, he might be hard, but there's a real positive vibe around the club right now. And I'll be honest, that's the feeling I've got. Even though there's some clouds hanging over United. And of course, we know there's one Portuguese-shaped cloud and there's one Dutch-shaped cloud. I don't know why I just decided to shape clouds in countries, but the Ronaldo and the de Jong situations are they have to be resolved. But hopefully before the season starts, I don't know. It feels like the de Jong situation is going to drag and drag and drag. It's the last thing I wanted, trust me. It's It's the last thing you want. It's the last thing Manchester United need. But it really is a case that that's happened. But in terms of Lisandro Martinez, one of those weird sort of old school paparazzi snaps where the pap just like pervs on people. He went out for presumably dinner with his girlfriend last night, but he's in Manchester. He's staying at the Lowry Hotel. Martinez is there. He's waiting for the deal to be completely officially announced so that he can join in training. I don't think we'll be seeing Martinez with the squad today. I don't know why Ajax would allow that. He's not officially a Manchester United player, but he's in Manchester. I don't really know what the issue is. There must be something that's just not completely agreed. Well, the deal is agreed, but there must be something that's, whether it's contracts X, Y, Z. It's not a major issue. It might delay him from joining in with the squad today, and he might join in tomorrow instead. It's not the end of the world, but I don't think we'll be seeing Lisandro Martinez today when the training pictures get released, but I do think we'll be seeing Christian Eriksen. So that's a good one. Someone else joined as a member there. Let me give you a quick shout out. Alex, nice to see you there, my friend. Joining as a member. Let me know where you're watching from. I'll try and catch all your names down here. I promise I do, but sometimes I miss everything. Dipesh, we will be speaking about the buy to Roma news. We'll be speaking about that later on today. I said that this week felt like a big week for Manchester United in terms of outs. Erik ten Hag has now had a couple of weeks in pre-season to analyse his whole squad. He's now made his own judgments. He now knows who he wants and who he doesn't think he needs. And Eric Bailly, I personally consider it one of those. Let's find out. Bruce, you're saying it's visa issues for Martinez. Let's find out there. Charlie Hughes saying, Sam, will the podcast be back next week? It will be. I apologize to everyone. I didn't mention it on last week's episode because I hadn't planned to take a week off, but I decided to take a week off of the podcast this week, end season 1 with the last podcast, and then start season 2 next week with our season predictions from me, Matt, Alex, Bao, and Neil. So we'll be back next week after the 2 games against Atletico Madrid and Rayo Vallecano. We can make our judgments in the build up to the game against Brighton. We'll release our season predictions next week. It's crazy, isn't it? It is crazy that not this Sunday, but the Sunday after, Man United are in action against Brighton in the Premier League. 12 days now, 11 to 12 days until the start of the Premier League season. It always feels like it comes around fast, but I suppose it is coming around a little bit fast this year because I think the season's starting slightly early because the season ending slightly early. Either way, we're not far away from that game. And whether or not Cristiano Ronaldo will be part of that team who faces Brighton, let's find out. Let me run through everything that we know so far, and then we can have a conversation in the comments because David Ornstein released this last night with his exclusive saying that Ronaldo is traveling back to England for talks with Erik ten Hag. And as I said, we had a conversation yesterday in the comments, and I was like, do you think Ronaldo will return to Manchester United tomorrow? We had a conversation, yes or no. I felt that he would have, because if he doesn't, he sweeps his own feet even further away from himself. Is that a thing? Can you sweep your own foot? I don't know. He'd shoot himself in the other foot. That's what he'd be doing. Because I think he's shot himself in the foot with how he's dealt with it so far, but not turning up today would have been even worse. Jacob is saying, look, a little late today, but got here. Good morning to you, my friend Jacob. Thank you very much for joining in. Where is Phil Jones? It's a good question, John. No doubt that we've, I know what happened. Phil Jones stayed behind in Manchester on his own training regime. Didn't go to the preseason tour. He'll probably be in training today with the players. I think he was there. Was he there in a couple of weeks before we went away? I'm not actually quite sure there. Phil Jones, I hope that we sell him. I really, really hope that we sell him. I don't expect that we'll sell him simply because of his wages. But Phil Jones had a season last season where he stayed injury-free. And I told you throughout the season, the best case scenario for United this year is Phil Jones staying injury-free, playing a couple of games, having a couple of decent performances. Is exactly what he did. So if we're going to be able to sell Phil Jones, it's this summer. Just someone needs to come in for him. Blackburn, come on, take him back. But look, this is what David Ornstein said on the Ronaldo situation in his article he released yesterday evening. He said, Cristiano Ronaldo is travelling back to England for talks with Manchester United over his future. Ronaldo is yet to work with Erik ten Hag and he missed the tour, citing family reasons. He's now expected in Manchester on Monday and will hold discussions with the United, having informed them of his wish to leave this summer if a suitable offer arrives. United have no intention of selling Ronaldo. That's what David Ornstein is saying there. It's unclear if he will train on Tuesday, but he's expected to have those conversations with Erik ten Hag. but his return is believed to be a positive sign. I'm not really sure about that. Sources around the matter suggest it is increasingly likely that Ronaldo remains at United. There is still a lack of clarity about the situation, and that is putting it mildly. That really is. Sam, you're down here saying, do you think Ten Hag's coaching will improve Ronaldo? No. I think Ronaldo is Ronaldo, and that's not a time where I would say any coach could really improve Ronaldo. What are you going to try and improve in Ronaldo? Ronaldo is Ronaldo. It's not about coaching him to improving. It's about if Ten Hag is going to do it right with Ronaldo. It's about finding a way to fit him in without taking away from the whole team, which is the difficult part of Ronaldo. I think so anyway. In terms of what else is being said this morning, Fabrizio Romano here saying that Ronaldo will meet with Erik Ten Hag to discuss his future. United insist he's not for sale, but Cristiano Ronaldo wants to leave. And Mendes is still pushing. And you know what I find really odd about that sentence there? The idea that Mendes is still pushing. It's like, what are you pushing? Man United are just sitting there just like, well, he's not for sale. What's Mendes pushing? It's not as if anybody's coming in for him, because you're seeing reports from this one here. Reports from Spain. Not exactly massively reliable, but just murmurs. Obviously, we've seen the murmurs. Duncan Castle's led with these murmurs about Atletico Madrid. And so many were like, nah, there's no way you do it. And then you go there and you take a step back. You're like, well, he tried to join City. And the only reason he didn't join City was because United came in. Of course, Ronaldo will join Atletico Madrid. I think Ronaldo, us as fans, we see the concept of legacy different to how Ronaldo sees his own concept of legacy. As far as we're concerned, the legacy, and obviously we've got red-tinted specs on, so we're biased. And that's why it would have been so insane if he had joined City. And Real Madrid fans, I think a lot of them would think the same thing if he went to Atletico Madrid. But I think Ronaldo's legacy, the only thing he cares about is the numbers that are written down on the paper, rather than the emotions attached to those numbers. He wants to be the number one. He wants the most Ballon d'Ors. He wants the most Champions League goals. He wants the most Champions Leagues. He just wants to be as top of as many different record lists as possible. And he doesn't particularly care what shirt he does that in. He proved that by the fact that he was going to go to Man City. And the fact that now all of a sudden Atletico Madrid is coming up, it's all about Ronaldo. It always has been about Ronaldo. That's what's made him the best player in the world. But ultimately, it's what has allowed me to sort of disconnect myself from Ronaldo a little bit. If I'm being completely honest, I got caught up in the hype when he came back. Of course he did. Every single person did. That game against Newcastle, incredible. He felt like a kid again. But Ronaldo's a bit of a dick. Ronaldo's a bit of a dick because he was happy and completely happy to join City. And he's probably completely happy to join Atletico and turn his back on all those years for Real Madrid fans. Not that I feel sorry for Real Madrid fans in any way, shape or form. But none of us can be surprised by it. I've told you that. I don't begrudge him at all for wanting Champions League football. Just think it's a bit of a fuck you to do it when he did it and the timing that he did it and the situation we're now in where we're 2 weeks away from the start of the season. We've got to have these conversations about Ronaldo. A couple more little points on this situation. Apparently United have absolutely no intention of looking for a replacement on Ronaldo. I think regardless of what happened with Ronaldo this summer, we were always going to be looking for a new attacker. I don't think that really changes if Ronaldo stays or Ronaldo goes. You could argue potentially that if we knew Ronaldo was leaving earlier in the summer, maybe we would have gone in harder for Darwin Núñez. But I don't think we would have paid that much for Darwin Núñez. We wouldn't have been able to afford that sort of money on a prospect which may take a year, 18 months to settle in. Which he might do at Liverpool and he might nail it. But I think in an ideal world, he leaves Manchester United. But I just don't think that's going to happen now. I genuinely think Ronaldo has handed this whole... Well, technically, it's not Ronaldo handling it. It's his agent. They've handled this situation spectacularly poorly. Which is so surprising for somebody who's so seasoned in that game. I think they really expected Chelsea to come and say, just put a bed of roses out for Ronaldo and just lift him up and say, oh, come to our club. Oh, Ronaldo. Instead, they were like, nah, never mind. And now he's making it. Where's the other reports down here? Ronaldo was still like a new experience, but nobody in this affair makes it a question of money. He even wants to take a pay cut. It's like, it's effectively, it feels a bit beggy, doesn't it? It feels a bit beggy with Ronaldo now. It's like he's going to all these clubs like Bayern and Chelsea's. Please sign me, please, pretty please. And it's just a bit weird. It's odd. It's weird. It's a shame to see this situation develop, to see Ronaldo in this position, but he's put himself in this position. As I said, there would not have been one angry Manchester United fan if at the end of the season, Ronaldo released a full statement saying, you know what? I love United. It's been so great coming back here, but I can't, at the age I'm at in my career, the Champions League is so important to me. I'm going to be leaving Manchester United at the end of this summer. I wish I could stay for longer, but it was amazing coming back. Thank you for the memories, and you'll always be in my heart, or some shit like that. United fans, no United fan would have angrily, well, that's a goddamn lie. Some United fans would have angrily responded, but the majority of us, overwhelming majority, would have been like, yeah, fair play, man. Like, I understand that. It was our fault for not getting in the Champions League. We messed it up. Cool, move on. And instead, it got to the situation where he was about to come back for preseason training. And then the family issues came up. As I said, I made it clear at that point that it was dangerous not to make any sort of assumptions at that point, but it's gone on too long now, in my opinion, to just simply be a family issue. Given the fact that last year, the biggest family issue of all happened when Ronaldo tragically lost his baby, and he was back in training like a few days later. Like, the club gave him all the time off in the world, and he made his own decision that he wanted to get straight back into it. Yet here we are weeks later, and he's not even talked to our new manager. It just doesn't. It doesn't match up, if you know what I mean. As far as an alibi goes, if you want to call it an alibi, it just doesn't really. The timelines don't really match up for me. Cordell, what are you saying? Ronaldo, he wants to compete and win in the upcoming season. If we compete in 2 seasons' time, that's a difference. It's not just Champions League. I know it's not just the Champions League, but again, he knew that at the end of the season. Ashley's right down here saying, look, Ronaldo's looking out for number one. He's always looked out for number one. Steve, you're saying other teams know Ronaldo will destroy their team. Only United fans seem to think he improves the side due to his stat padding. Ronaldo scored like 23 goals last season. As far as stat padding goes, it's a pretty damn good bit of stat padding. He is an elite level goal scorer. If he was to have joined City this year instead of Erling Haaland, he would have scored 30 plus goals easily without even breaking a sweat. Everyone knows that. And I actually think that if hypothetically he was to stay at Manchester United, I think he'd probably score more goals this year than he did last year, because look how we're playing. We're actually playing by creating chances. All the cutbacks we've been making in preseason, Ronaldo on the end of those, he's a predator in the box. Absolute predator. But he's undermined his own position. He's undermined Erik ten Hag's position as manager. Somebody who, I didn't speak about it in yesterday's stream, but Erik ten Hag disciplined one player on the preseason tour who turned up late twice for meetings and dropped him from the team altogether. Ten Hag has created a new level of discipline at the club. And if Ronaldo just saunders back in now, having not trained once, having not gone on the preseason tour, having made it clear that he wants to leave the club, how does he manage that? It's just, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that I don't like sideshows and circuses at Manchester United. I've had enough of them over the last few years, and I'm just bored, sick to the back teeth of them. I'd rather just not have them. But this is the biggest one of all, really, that you could have. It's Ronaldo. Ash, you're joining as a member, my friend. Let me know where you're watching from, my friend. Apparently, you're my friend. Let me go down here. There's a super chat from Ray. What are you saying, sir? To be honest, I'm not bothered about Ronaldo. He walked away before when United was flying, so it's no surprise to me that it's not. It's no surprise whatsoever. Because, as you said there, back in 2008, it was his dream move to, well, it was 2007, actually. It was his dream move to Real Madrid. He was a slave. We kept him for one more year. He never looked like the same Ronaldo that year. And I'll always remember that performance. I think it was in Rome against Barcelona in the Champions League. Was that where he missed a penalty really early doors? And it just wasn't the same Ronaldo in the Champions League final. He went to Real Madrid, and well, we know the player he became there. Jonathan, so if he gets 5 or 6 goals for Atletico in the group stage, they get knocked out. Must be some other reason, I'd say, as he's an intelligent guy. If it was money, we know that he'd be going to Saudi Arabia, right? If it was prestige, honor, I don't know how to describe that. He'd probably stay at Manchester United. But he correctly feels he's bigger than where Manchester United are currently competing. He doesn't want to walk out to the Europa League anthem on Thursday night. He doesn't want to go into a season where, realistically, the thing that you're battling for is a top 4 position. Is he? That's not Ronaldo. That's not what he's built his career on. So he doesn't want to do that. At this age in his career, I mean, no one knows how long Ronaldo can go for, right? 37, and realistically, he's probably got the fitness and the body physique of, I don't know, somebody who's probably just turning 30. He's a freak, an athletic freak, and almost a Terminator. For the fact that he's been able to stay so injury-free as well. But United have made it abundantly clear, right? He is not for sale. But Ronaldo today is back at the club, and Ronaldo, unfortunately, will dominate the headlines this week. Right? Tim, you're saying he's done nothing wrong. He had issues and returned. The club needs to grow some balls and either lay down the law or terminate his contract. I would disagree. I think he has done something wrong, and that's to do with the timing. Personally, I think it's to do with the timing. I told you, there wouldn't have been one United fan that would have begrudged him leaving if it was at the end of the season, when we would have had so much more time to cope with it. But Ten Hag has always had Ronaldo in his plans. I think the best thing that I've seen about the preseason tour so far is that it hasn't really affected us. I don't think so anyway. Look how he played in the preseason, in all the games. Look how Martial took to the spotlight. There's positives that came out of the negative. It wasn't if we had lost 4-0 to Liverpool in that first game of the season, preseason, all the media would have been like, "Oh, Ten Hag struggling without Ronaldo." You can know what the headlines would have been, and you'd be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" But not really at any point during that preseason tour was Ronaldo mentioned, other than when the journalist got to ask him, and Erik Ten Hag said, "No change, no update." End the conversation. It didn't take away from anything from our preseason tour. Jonathan, you're saying, look, just let him go. Why is he not for sale then? I think he is for sale. Right? No, that's the wrong way to describe it. I think Manchester United are happy and prepared to let Ronaldo go if an acceptable offer comes in. But that offer's just not come in. That's what I mean. Ronaldo's begging for it. And you can see here Fabrizio Romano saying that Mendes is still pushing. Mendes is begging. Mendes is begging teams to offer Ronaldo a way out. And if that offer comes in, maybe from Atletico Madrid, maybe they're going to shift Griezmann on, maybe they're going to shift somebody else, and they're going to take Ronaldo. And then good luck to you. Do what you want. I don't care. I've got great memories of Ronaldo. But it's just, this is what football has become, where a player can just kind of hold a club at ransom. It's happened to us before. Sure, it's happened to other clubs before. I won't lose any sleep over Ronaldo leaving. I really, really won't. He's not fundamental to our plans next season. I don't think so anyway. That being said, the idea of relying on Martial as basically our sole number 9 scares the crap out of me. So I think we would still needed a new attacker regardless of whether Ronaldo left or not. Just if he does leave, we might need someone who can play more central. I've got a video that's going to go out this week. I'm taking a look at alternatives for Anthony. I've told you I don't think we're going to be signing Anthony. I think he's going to cost too much money. But I think that idea of looking at an Anthony alternative, you can't just focus on looking at right wingers. I think that Anthony alternative is an attacker, somebody who can either play on the right or through the middle. PP the Great, what you're saying, 121 scored before Ronaldo, 46 by the rest of the team after Ronaldo, 75 goals shedded by the rest of the team for Ronaldo to score 24 goals. He hurts team play. There's no doubt that you have to play differently with Ronaldo. Everybody's known that. We've known that since day one. That's what Ronaldo is. But if you do have a team that's geared towards Ronaldo, and that's why, as I said, the conversation about City scared me, the idea that he could just drop into that City team, then I don't know. the way it's looking at the moment, I think Ronaldo's going to be staying at the club. And it's going to be the second time in his career where Ronaldo has wanted to leave and he stayed at Manchester United for one more season. When you think about it, it's weird. That's happened before. Obviously, after he won the double, and he stayed for the year after, 2008, 2009, and then he went to Real Madrid. Jonathan, that's a good question, actually. Down there, he's saying, are you going to predict the whole Premier League positions or at least Manchester United? My prediction is going to go out next week. I was just going to be going and doing a full video on my predictions for Manchester United for the season in terms of League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League, and Premier League. But maybe I can do a separate video on my whole Premier League predictions, although I'm going to get absolutely about 2 right. MUFC 93, what are you saying, sir? Ronaldo's isn't an alien anymore. He's still a top striker, but at 38, he needs to humble himself and be happy he's still playing for a massive club. No, that's not going to happen. That's an impossible concept, I think, for his ego to take. Ronaldo is bigger than most football clubs, as far as he's concerned. And he is bigger than a lot of clubs. But football's the level of fitness and athleticism required to play football at the top level just keeps getting higher and higher and higher every single season. It's why there's so many like young teenagers breaking through now who are just like bursting into the scene when they're like 17, 18, where previously it would have been a lot harder. The fitness levels and the quality is just gone through the roof. And Ronaldo, he can't cut it in the Premier League anymore by comparison. Not every single week. I told you it was Zidane who got the best out of him in the Liga because he started dropping him for not midweek games, for some of the Liga games. So he was fit and ready for the Champions League. And that's when he started scoring back-to-back hat-tricks. But that was when he was in the Champions League and he was probably willing to do that. Rohith, you sent the super chat, my friend, but you didn't say anything, so I can't see that. I don't really think... Well, actually, that's an interesting question. I don't really think there'll be any United... Well, I wouldn't argue with it, that Ronaldo's got a better legacy than Ronaldo. But that's because, as I said, the concept of the word legacy, I feel like it has a different meaning to Ronaldo and Rooney. Ronaldo's legacy is his own individual numbers. Those pieces of paper that you'll look back on and say, right, who's the top Champions League goal scorer? Oh, Ronaldo. Who's this? Oh, Ronaldo. Who's that? Oh, Ronaldo. That's the legacy as far as he is concerned, rather than the feeling that he has at any particular club. That's why I think so anyway. Grant, thank you very much for super sticker, my friend. I don't really know what they are, super stickers, but they look quite cool. Ralph tried to manage his game time. Yeah, he kicked out the bench and told Ralph to sub the kids off. And yeah, he did. It's I wish it wasn't the level of distraction that it's going to be for Manchester United. I really, really wish it wasn't. That's the thing that annoys me. I think the preseason has gone really well so far. I think Ten Hag's done well to manage it to this point. But look, Sigmund, you're completely right down here. You're saying, look, we can't rely on Martial as our main option. Yep. Regardless of whether or not Ronaldo leaves or stays, we need an attacker. Who's United's top goal scorer? Legacy right there, of course. But Ronaldo's never going to get that, was he? Thank you very much, Colin. Honestly, I keep saying it. I'm blown away by the growth on the channel. But I think it's testament to good work, hard work, and consistent work. So I'm not surprised by it, but I'm happy that it's resonating with all of you guys and girls. So thank you very much for helping it grow. Let's quickly move on here. Otherwise, we're just going to get stuck in a conversation about Ronaldo all day. And I don't want to do that. To finish that conversation, Ronaldo is back in Manchester today. Ronaldo will be at Carrington. Whether Ronaldo trains or not, let's find out, right? But he will have a conversation with Ten Hag. I don't know why he hasn't already spoken to him on the phone. It's a bit of a weird flex. But he will be speaking to him today, and let's find out what happens past that point. Drop a like on the video, and let's move on to the next talking point. This will be brief, but I want to brush on what Gary Neville said yesterday on Frenkie de Jong, because he released this tweet, and I did a video following up on it, because I felt it was it's quite a powerful thing for Gary Neville to say, really. He said that de Jong should consider legal action versus Barcelona, and all players should be behind him. A club spending fortunes on new players whilst not paying the ones they have under contract their full money is immoral and a breach, and FIFA pros should be all over bullying like this and stop it. The reason I did a video on it is because quite a few of you have asked me about why isn't Frenkie de Jong taking any legal action, and you said that quite quite a few times. Oh, look, there's a little message here from Mike Vivage. Of course, you know who Mike Vivage is. He's your big man from the Telegraph. There you go. It is expected that Manchester United will officially present Lisandro Martinez today or tomorrow. There you go. It's exactly what I said at the start of the stream. I said, look, don't worry about Martinez. He's going to be playing for Manchester United this week. And it looks like it, well, either today or tomorrow. I've got a separate video I've been planning on Martinez. I found an interview that he did back in, I think it was 2021, with an Argentinian newspaper. And it's so good. It really is so good. Where he goes like, you really start to understand the mentality and the attitude that he's going to bring to the club. But that I can't look, Paul, I completely agree with you down there. I can't wait to see Martinez. I think he's going to be he's going to have that temperament, but he's going to match it with actually being a very decent footballer, because aggression is great. And as Rooney showed, if you use aggression and you channel it in the right way, it can be an asset to your game. But as Rojo showed, you can let that aggression take over yourself, and it become, instead of an asset to your game, it can take over your game instead. Martinez, I think, will be on the right side of that. Well, let's find out, I suppose. But as Mark Vivide is saying there, it's either going to be officially presented today or tomorrow. That's exciting news. I'll definitely be going live when that happens. You're back. Saying, I was wondering why FIFA Pro isn't all over it. So going back to that conversation we were having just there about that Gary Neville tweet. Now, FIFA Pro, if you don't know who FIFA Pro are, they're sort of like the official representatives of professional footballers. And I did a video on it yesterday, that one there, because I wanted to have a conversation about it. And inside that video, I mentioned the Jean-Marc Bosman situation. If you don't know the Bosman situation, it's called the Bosman ruling. Back in 95, I think 95 was when it happened. He had a contract in 1988 that expired in 1990. He wanted to move clubs, and a club wanted to sign him. I think it was Standard Liège. Was it Bruges? Either way, I think it was Standard Liège. Anyway, the club that was trying to sign him was willing to pay $500,000. No, sorry, wasn't willing to pay $500,000. The club his contract had expired, and the club that he was at said, no, he's going to cost $500,000, despite the fact that his contract had expired. The club that then wanted to sign him didn't want to pay it. He had to stay at the club, and the club who held him then reduced his wages by 75%. He took it to the European Court of Justice and said it was against freedom of movement, and the Bosman ruling came into effect, which changed football transfers forever. And that was in 1995. And that means that now that players can leave at the end of their contracts for free transfers. Without Bosman, that wouldn't have existed. So FIFA Pro do get involved and sort of protect the interests of players. But with this Frenkie de Jong situation, the thing that we don't know is how much legal standing de Jong has. That's the crucial the part of this situation, which I explained in the video yesterday, because Gary Neville was completely right when he uses that word there. It is utterly immoral. We just don't know whether it's utterly illegal. Fabrizio Romano here saying that, again, Barcelona will ask him to take a pay cut, but he's not going to be taking it. Right? He's not going to be taking it. Sam, you're asking down there, saying, important question, who would Martinez pair with? We're going to have a video out on United People's TV comparing Martinez to Varane, Maguire, and Lindelof, looking at all the strengths of them, and then identifying which is going to be the best balanced partnership. That'll be a good video. Mehar, you're saying, there you go, de Jong should go to court and get to leave for free. Court takes time. And given what de Jong is doing and done so far, really don't think he'll be taking his dream club to court either. I don't think so anyway. But I found this quite interesting, actually, because this is from Dermot Corrigan from The Athletic this morning. He sort of did a long piece on de Jong, and I thought these couple of paragraphs were quite interesting. He said, there's confusion among the players about what exactly the directors are planning, but a feeling of let's see what card Laporta pulls out of his sleeve next. De Jong knows that players who have been told by the board they have no future at the Camp Nou can stick around. Dembele's situation shows that they can continue to be important for the team if the coach values them. Multiple sources who wish not to be named, who are close to different squad members, those in and out of favour with Xavi and Laporta, have told The Athletic that everyone in the team has got used to living, training and performing amid this atmosphere. And I found that really weird. It's basically what he's saying there is that Barcelona's players have got used to just playing in a situation where the directors all want to get rid of them, but the coach likes them. So the whole time they've got this looming sense of, I don't know, foreboding, that they know full well that there's these directors who are above them that just want to sell them, whilst at the same time their coach, being Xavi this time, wants to hold on to them. And that's just the environment that they are happy to accept. And the thing that I really spoke about yesterday, when I said that De Jong should consider legal action, was the fact that there's precedent at Barcelona. Barcelona are used to getting their own way. When they couldn't register Eric Garcia and Memphis Depay, Gerard Piqué took a substantial pay cut, and they were then able to register those new players. Right now, they can't register those new players. And whether or not those economic levers, the second one, allows them to do that, as yet unknown. But they want Frenkie de Jong to effectively do what Gerard Piqué did a while ago. Take a huge pay cut and stay at the club. And Barcelona must just have more prestige with footballers than I give them credit for. They really, really must. Because the way they treat footballers and the way that the footballers kind of seemingly accept it, I find it really, really strange. I really do, I'll be honest. Maybe the Barcelona weather gives it. The Barcelona lifestyle is better than I think. And I fucking love Barcelona, I'll be honest. It is a great city. I'm not surprised I like the lifestyle. Who am I kidding? Chris, you're saying, Sam, with all our recent signings and outgoings, I'm a bit worried about the homegrown rule. We should do a video to see if we have enough to meet that requirement. Homegrown will never be an issue at Manchester United because of our academy. Never going to be an issue. Go down here and see what you're saying. Sam, do you think this would have gone like this if Frenkie de Jong was at an English club and was owed money, as I feel the governing bodies would have stepped in? Effectively, if somebody can, by the way, if somebody can help Jordan down there, the second time that Jordan's left that comment, I apologize, Jordan, I just can't do that whilst I'm live on the stream. That Nemanja pick looks more like Jones. I wouldn't say that to Nemanja's face if I was you. I really wouldn't. But as I said, the fact that this is not the first time this has happened. What they're doing with De Jong, they did with Piqué. They did so they could register Memphis Depay and Eric Garcia. And Barca got their own way. And they're used to getting their own way. And they're trying it again. And right now, they're not getting their own way. That's a bit different. Barcelona might not have been expecting it. But that's the situation that they're currently in. And De Jong is not backing down. Good on him. Absolutely good on him. It's just that United we've got stuck in this situation. It's what happens when we've got Erik ten Hag in as our new manager, and our number one priority is to sign a player from a club. Honestly, this summer is what Barcelona have done and are doing this summer is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. It really, really is. Any sort of finance, it's so hard to understand how they are getting away with what they are doing. We know why they are doing it, but it stinks. And just United we're the piggy in the middle. We are the piggy in the middle. Asking a player to take a second wage cut is a sign of a vile club. He's already taken a huge pay cut. He's already helped the club. And their thank you is take another one or get out. We're not going to pay you the money you're owed. It's weird. It's really, really weird. But that's the De Jong update per se. There isn't an update. It's just you can't ignore the situation. Of course you can't. But it's I think I'm losing faith, I suppose, that we'll sign him. Simply because I don't think Barcelona have got enough of a moral compass to pay him the money that he's owed. And also, Frenkie de Jong will not leave without that money. So I think Frenkie de Jong, at least for another year, will see out that year of his contract and get a get a huge wedge of the money he's owed and a loyalty bonus. And maybe we might have to wait a year for Frenkie de Jong, because I don't think that he's going to be leaving without that money. And I don't think that Barcelona are going to be giving it to him. And it's going to reach that sort of stalemate. And United will suffer because of it. Ray, problem with Piqué is his stock went, he too took a pay cut. His stock went down, but he was a good centre-back. De Jong is CM. He does want his stock to go to fall. I don't think so. No, he doesn't. But De Jong will play at the World Cup anyway. He really, really will. I don't think that's too much of an issue. Gene, he's saying, Sam, if our board's done their homework on De Jong, they should have known this was coming. I'll be honest. I don't think Manchester United would have been entirely aware of the deferred wages situation. And why would they be privy to that information? Unless the agent of De Jong told us. Again, we don't know that. We don't know that. Dixon, you're saying Sam, is Martinez going to train? Martinez will not train today. We're waiting for the official announcement today. Mike Lavage confirming that's going to happen either today or tomorrow, but Eriksen will train, and that's exciting. In a bit of a switch now. I've told you this week is significant for United. Lots going on. 3 games that we've got this week. Not 2, but 3 games. I'll bring the news of the third one, but also outgoings. And DiMarzio here yesterday saying that AS Roma have contacted Manchester United for Eric Bailly. They're not the only people to report this. That news came sort of early yesterday afternoon. But this will be, in my opinion, a move which suits all parties. Wow, we can argue about Bailly in the comments. I kind of not argued about him yesterday. We had a polite conversation about Bailly yesterday, and I've said that personally, I'm just done. I've checked out. I think Bailly he impressed in preseason, just like Bailly impresses. Sort of like stands out, and you go, "Wow, there he is again." But then you know what's coming next. I know the end of this story, and I know what's going to happen next. He will play good for a few games, but then he will get injured, and then we'll be stuck in the cycle again. I think Bailly to Roma, and also joining up with Jose Mourinho, who, of course, signed him to Manchester United in the first place. Good move for Bailly in his career. Good move for Manchester United. We should be able to, if we can get £10 million for Andreas Pereira, we should be able to get between £10 and £15 million for Eric Bailly. I think so anyway. He's definitely worth that amount of money. He could stay at Manchester United. He could be an option. But we need to be ruthless as a club now, ladies and gents. We've got seven centre-backs on our books. Phil Jones is not going to play much next season. Eric Bailly is not going to play much next season. And neither is Axel Tuanzebe. All 3 of them need to be leaving the club. Even if you... Look, I know that Harry Maguire probably should be replaced. But it's not going to happen this summer. Let's not waste any time. Victor Lindelof, I think, as a ball-playing centre-back, probably will suit being a backup alternative over Eric Bailly, even if his pace is an issue. Geez, the pace is an issue with Maguire as well. Lindelof, I think, can be a decent centre-back for United still. Same topics every day. It's almost like we're talking about the Manchester... Do people like genuinely expect every single day to go, here's a completely different talk. Here is a random new topic to talk about, like Eric Bailly to Roma. That's a brand new topic. A bit of a strange time to leave that comment as well, my friend. Sometimes I have to react to comments because I've got to call them out for just being just stupid. Just stupid. Here's some new updates for you here, ladies and gentlemen, that you haven't heard before today. Manchester United are set to face Wrexham in an additional pre-season friendly fixture behind closed doors this week. So that means that Manchester United are going to be playing Wrexham on Wednesday. That's the team that's now owned by what's his face? Deadpool. My God, his name's completely left. Ryan Reynolds. Boom, there he is. Ryan Reynolds' team. We're going to play Wrexham with a behind closed doors friendly on Wednesday. Then we're going to be playing Atletico Madrid on Saturday. And then we're going to be playing Rayo Vallecano on Sunday. 3 games within the space of 4 days. It's a lot of football. We should be fit and ready for that game against Brighton. And it's just something that we haven't ever had for a good few years, man. Every time we've gone into a preseason, even if we've had a decent preseason, every time we've gone into a season, sorry. I mean, we won, was it 5-1 we had against Leeds at Old Trafford? Geez, that was wicked under Solskjaer. So maybe we have had it, but I just feel confident about it. I don't know. I just have an air of confidence about this team being a team. There are still massive holes to fix. We know that. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of them. Frenkie de Jong is another one of them. I think even if we do get the Frenkie de Jong, even if this whole story ends with Frenkie de Jong holding up a Manchester United shirt, I don't think it's going to be before that game against Brighton. As much as it annoys me, it's just this one's going to drag. This one will drag. Of course, the window doesn't close for over another month. I don't think we're going to stop talking about De Jong until September. I really hope it ends with De Jong in the United shirt. I really do. Because I just get the feeling from how Ten Hag has discussed it, from how Manchester United simply have not been looking at anybody else, it's either De Jong or nobody. We will not sign, in my opinion, we will not sign an alternative. We will not sign somebody else for the sake of signing somebody else. Erik Ten Hag will probably rather go a season without De Jong and then sign De Jong than to sign somebody else and forget about De Jong. I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's what it's going to be. And that's kind of what we've seen so far. We've had no movement about Neves, Tielemans, Sangare, any other player, any other midfielder, really. You got Jonathan down there saying, look, maybe Martinez will play in midfield. I mean, that's a possibility. It's a possibility. Yeah, Gene, you're completely right here. And I've said this quite a lot. August is a busy old... August has got 5 games, I think. 4 games. And remember, is it October where it goes absolutely full-blown mental? And we're going to have 9 games. It's going to be so busy on United People's TV. Jeez, I'm going to need a holiday after that bad boy. But we're going to win all the games, so it doesn't really matter. In terms of that game at Old Trafford, I thought it was a nice little touch. Manchester United have given over 10,000 free tickets out to that game. For Rayo Vallecano to some kids. So I imagine we're probably going to be seeing the strongest 11 against Atletico Madrid on Saturday. And the game against Rayo Vallecano on Sunday is going to be maybe playing some of the youth, some of the kids. Everyone's going to get 90 minutes, probably. Garnacho will get some time. Obviously, people are going to make assumptions that Garnacho was the player that that turned up late, and that's why he didn't play. Easy assumption to make. That's a pure assumption, so I won't do that. And then what's the last little bit of news that I've got on here today for you? Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Kind of what we're talking about there in terms of Frenkie de Jong alternatives. I don't think Fred's a Frenkie de Jong alternative, not in any way, shape, or form. But from what we've seen in the preseason, what you're hearing from Fred here in these quotes, I think that's probably where we're going to be seeing more of Fred this season. He said, last season I played a bit further forward under Rangnick. He gave me a bit more freedom to get in the box to score and assist. We'll see what Erik ten Hag asks of me now. He may want me more in the build-up of play. And I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing. Fred is not a number 6. Fred will never be a number 6. All right? We all know that Fred's probably natural abilities are best further forward. But given that we've got Bruno, given that we've got Eriksen, and given the way that team's shaped up, I think we're probably going to be seeing Fred as probably likely to be a bit of a deeper midfielder. But one thing that will be different and crucial to understand about that this year is the fullbacks, right? Because inside that previous system, under Solskjaer and Rangnick, that number 6, the person who played sort of deeper in midfield, was kind of isolated. But with the fullbacks, that's going to be different this year. And that will be a crucial change and something that I think will help Fred inside that position. Whenever United go forward now, you see Tyrell Malacia tucking in and almost acting as a bit of an extra midfielder. That allows the press to be... It makes the press better, gives you more options through the middle to keep those passing movements going, and also will offer a little bit of protection, not really protection, but a partner to whoever's playing in that deeper role. So that I think we'll see Malacia kind of tucking in there sometimes. When one fullback goes forward, the other one kind of stays back, just so it's not over exerting yourself going forward. So it might be Dalot tucking in, and it might be Malacia tucking in. That's what I think so anyway. So that will probably help Fred. It's not the right thing to do, rely on Fred in that role. But I have to admit, I think I back Erik ten Hag with the idea that if he doesn't get the man that he wants, that it will be more beneficial to Manchester United in the long term to wait for Frenkie de Jong than it would be to go out and just sign somebody for the sake of signing somebody. Because that concept has been one of the fundamental flaws in our transfer policy over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Signing players for the sake of signing players. Donny van der Beek, probably the best example of that, right? He's not fit in at any point whatsoever. But it's going to be an interesting one. For me, it's quite clear that if he doesn't get De Jong, I don't think he's going to sign anybody else. But it's weird. I'm going to head down here, head to the comments, as I always do at the end of every stream. I'll answer as many of your questions as I possibly can for the last couple of minutes. So fire in your questions, anything you think I haven't talked about enough in the show or anything I haven't talked about. Like Vicky, what are you saying? Sam, do you see United making a 5th or above without Frenkie de Jong? I think Frenkie de Jong is... The thing with Frenkie de Jong, Vicky, is that if he arrives, he speeds everything up. Like Man United turning from like an average team to a very good team will happen far quicker with Frenkie de Jong in. I think it will still happen without him in it. but it'll be a longer process. There'll be more speed bumps at the start of the season without Frenkie de Jong. And maybe that will hurt us. I don't know. I really don't know what to predict next year. Honestly, I think it all depends on the Ten Hag mystery factor. How much of an impact can Ten Hag really have across the course of the season? He's had so much more of an impact than I could have expected in the preseason, so it bodes well for the season ahead. And if we are to exceed expectations, it's basically going to be down to whether or not Ten Hag can work some real magic. Any other forward link, any one of the forward signing links besides Anthony? Of course, I covered the Benjamin Sesko story yesterday. If you haven't seen that, make sure you go onto United People's TV. It's one of the latest videos. Do you think Eriksen will start against Wrexham? Probably, because it's behind closed doors. So it's a perfect opportunity for him to get some fitness into his legs. But Eriksen, of course, remember, is going to be, 3 weeks behind everybody? So he's going to have a tough couple of weeks ahead to be ready for that Brighton game. So maybe Brighton might even come slightly too early. But we'll definitely be seeing him playing. 100% we'll go in for another midfield player. We don't have enough players. I don't know, Sam. The way that Erik ten Hag is talking, it really is a case of it sounds like he would rather nothing instead of an alternative to Frenkie de Jong. Jonathan, our net spin was supposed to be 120, 150. So if Frenkie de Jong doesn't come, it will be pathetic considering where we are and how far off we are. Now that I will agree with Jonathan. We've spent 50 on Martinez and 15 on Malassia. That's 65. So roughly about half of what we were told so far. All the money is there for, but it won't just be that. If we don't get regardless of whether we get de Jong or not, I think we're going to get an attacker. So that's going to be added in. I don't know how much we're going to spend on that attacker, how experienced that attacker is going to be, whether we get someone like Sesko or someone like, I don't know, Hakim Ziyech, who's a bit older. It remains to be seen, but I think we'll sign an attacker anyway. Sigmund, Sam, how do you see the atmosphere at Old Trafford this year in regards to ownership? More the same? Sigmund, I'm already talking to the 1958. They've already announced the plans. There will be a protest before the game against Brighton. They've started a new generation of protests, a different type of generation of protests. Different type of generation, that makes no sense. A different type of protest. It's consistent. There will be a protest before the game against Brighton. And no doubt there'll be a protest before the game against Liverpool. The protest won't be going away. And that's the right thing to do. No matter how good this summer was or is, the protest should not go away. Carl, Neves, there's no point us having a conversation about Neves. Neves is going to be 60 to 70 million. And the only way you go after a player like that at that price is if he really is fundamental and crucial to your plans. And he's not fundamental and crucial to Erik ten Hag's plans. So as much as I would love Neves, and I've always raved about Neves, it's not going to happen, right? It's not going to happen. What else are you saying down here? Do you think the protests have an effect on the players? Not particularly, but that's not who they need to have an effect on, really. They just have to keep the conversation circling in the wider media. That's what gives it energy, and it's important to do that. What about the PSV player? Well, Ibrahim Sangare, I've spoken about him a while ago now. Geez, 5-6 weeks we had a conversation with Rick Elfrink from PSV, Eindhoven Dagblad, I think, a daily newspaper out in PSV. Yeah, I identified him, 37 million euros, release clause. It's been there all summer, but we haven't been looking at him. Gungshi, how you doing, buddy? I'm going to get your shirt's been sent out, by the way. I haven't replied to your DM. The shirt has been sent. I apologize to everybody, by the way. Anybody who has won a giveaway on here the last couple of weeks, I've been waiting on some packaging to arrive. I had to buy some more. That's just arrived this morning. So I'm going to get all your shirts sent out. And I'll do another giveaway towards the end of this week. I'll tell you what, I've got a couple of Ronaldo shirts down here. So maybe I've got to do more than one giveaway. Jeremy, what are you saying? Last question. What do you think of Erik ten Hag on convincing his previous players, while Xavi convincing players by calling them coming to Barca and getting all their transfer targets? I don't really know what the question is there. I've already explained quite a lot about why us going after Ajax players this summer I don't see that as a negative. We've got no scouting department that Ten Hag can rely on. He's trusting his own instincts, and that's why we're going after that. I don't particularly think that will happen next year. I think it's only a one summer policy, and I think so anyway. The irony of waiting for a parcel is true, actually. Anyway, we've got the packaging, so we can get the shirt sent out. But look, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. Really good conversation this morning. That's why I like it. Nice, intellectual, an actual genuine debate and a conversation. I listen to plenty of opinions, even if I don't agree with you. I'll tell you why I don't agree with you. And it's not about a slagging match. That happens too much online. I try and avoid it. But thank you very much for joining in. I'll have another video out at lunchtime today. I think today could be a busy one. I reckon we might be live later on today with a Martinez announcement. Once that's official, you'll definitely be here on United People's TV. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Check out the video on Sesko yesterday. Nice little 10-minute video. All you need to know about him and the rumors and reports around him. I did a video on Gary Neville yesterday as well. You got special 3 videos yesterday. Jeez. Sometimes I treat you well. But thank you very much for joining in. Oh, man. 11 days, 12 days to start the season. It's full tilt at United. And our 2 biggest things, De Jong and Ronaldo, neither of those are resolved yet. So strap yourselves in. There's more to come.